a new keyframe inside blank keyframe and redraw that eye. So I'm just gonna blank keyframe F7. I'm gonna turn my onion skin on so I can see the original eye there, and just create a new eye with the line tool. I'm gonna bring the width of the line down to maybe, let's see, I think a 3 would work pretty well. And to draw here, I'm just using my line tool and just manipulating the line, moving it around a little bit. So I've got a closed eye. I don't mind that eye, what's going on there. So yeah, and if you want to taper off corners, I think it gives it a better look. So I'm just going to highlight that eye, go up to modify, transform, modify shape, convert lines to fill. And what that's going to allow me to do is it's broken those lines down to paint, so now I can go and just taper off the end of some of these lines. Once again, if I hold Alt down, it'll bring that line to a point for me. So just sharpens the drawing, looks a little bit better. You can also turn the smooth tool down here. It doesn't always give you what you want, but sometimes it'll smooth out that eye a little better. So I've got an open and closed eye. You can go crazy even and add some in-betweens. Such a simple character. I'm just going to make a new keyframe, use my onion skin between the two, and just bring this eye down a little bit. Just give it a bit of a squash so it looks like it's going into the closed eye a little better. Alright, so on frame 15 I want the eyes to close, so I'm just going to go to frame 3 here and set it to single frame. Oops. So yeah, didn't add anything to this eye. These are both separate symbols. So what I can do quickly is just go double click back into this eye, click on the frame that I've made, or even Control C to copy that raw artwork, and then go back to this eye, create a new blank keyframe on the third frame, F7, and then Control V, paste that back in there. And same thing, go modify, transform, flip horizontally. And I can put my onion skin back on and just kind of line up that eye the best I can. I go back into my head comp symbol here. So now you'll notice that Flash has a default that when you first start it, the eyes are always set to loop here, and most symbols are. The background of the eyes is set to loop. The eyebrows are set to loop. So if I go back inside and add a blank keyframe to the eyebrow now, it's just going to keep flashing on and off. So what I want to do is go on my eyes and set that to single frame so that they don't keep flashing like that. Same thing here, single frame. And because I want my eyes to close on frame 15, I'm just going to give it a single frame but set it to 3. The reason for that is that within this eye symbol, the third frame is the closed eye, so that's why it's on frame 3. Alright, so that's about it for this. For inside the head comp, all I'm going to do for now, I can drop the eyebrows down a little bit to add a bit more of an antic. I'm going to go back to the main timeline and see how that looks now. So I've got his eyes closing right there and then opening again on 21. Could probably use an in-between of the mouth going into this frame, but I'm not going to do that for this lesson quite yet. One thing that I think this guy needs here is a new drawing of the arms. So he's going up, his whole body's going up right here. His body's at his highest point, so it would be nice if the arms and the hands could still be coming up at this point and then hit their high point here once the body starts to drop. So same thing, I can just go turn my onion skin back on so I can see the frame before and after. And so if I want to delay this arm, it's already converted to fill, so I can't simply break it apart and drag this line around because it's all fill. So for this arm, I'm just gonna redraw it. So I'm just deleting the arm, and I'm just gonna use my line tool to create a new one. And I'm just gonna set that line to 10 for my line weight. And I'm gonna bring it almost to the high point. just adjust it so it's maintaining its volume there. Alright, so same thing, I'm just going to make a group and double click into my group. Close that arm off. And fill it with paint. A couple extra pieces I don't want there, so I'm just going to delete them. Alright. So I've got a little bit more drag, and I'm just going to line that hand back up and kind of find I've got 3 hands drawn in here. I'm probably going to use number 2 hand, just so I don't have to draw a new one quite yet. Might want to stretch it down a little bit. Same. And then, once again, I can just play it through and see how that arm's working. I mean, it's got a little bit more secondary action now. I'm kind of liking what's happening there. Another thing I can do is take this arm and just copy it and paste it, modify, transform, flip it over to the other side, get rid of this one, and then just move this arm into place on the other side. You can go really crazy with it and just have both of the arms overlapping at different times and one following behind the other one. So that's your basic animation. I mean, you can just keep going with this and adding more secondary to the hand as it comes up. The arm can pop to its high point. This hand can drag behind a little bit more. And then hit the high point shortly after on the next frame. And I can even go as far as taking that hand and stretching it out. Same thing here. And just add a bit more settle to this hand. So I'm just going to delete these middle keyframes here, which is Shift F6. Flash glitch, it's not working for me. If you ever find that your hotkeys aren't working, it's either your F lock is on or Flash has just had it. So I'm just going to close out of this, make sure it's saved here. And just close down Flash. And I'm just going to reopen that file. And try that again. So problem solved. If you ever get a glitch in Flash, just close out the program, start over, just make sure you save it first. Alright, so now I'm going to add a little bit more overlap on those hands. And I might want them to settle at a different time than the rest of the body, so I'm just going to drag them out a couple more frames. And then go back in and add another tween to them with 100% ease out. So yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I'm going to go back and put it back on 2s. So just count over, remember to go from right to left. And just highlight those frames. Another thing with CS4 I noticed is that you can't drag over anything that doesn't have a tween on it and then take the tween off. You have to actually highlight the area that has a tween and do it one at a time. So it's another confusing thing with CS4. So in CS3, luckily, you can just select the entire thing and then just go up to select all those tweens and go up to the tween function in properties and just turn it off, set it to none. As in none. There we go. So yeah, that's the basics of Flash animation, using some traditional theory along with cheats like motion tweening. And I mean, I don't mind what I have here. I can take it further and do some in-betweens of the face, but for this lesson, that's all I'm going to do. Control Enter will export your movie so you can see it play smoothly. So yeah, that's the basic of Flash animation.